Ladies and gents, boys and girls, I spent a lot of time re-downloading the version 2 build 80 Terminator software and getting a new tune built, all because I was having problems with the boost controller and because I was having problems with the SD card in the data logger. So I'll show you all that in just a second. We'll get right into it, but here you go. Here's the video, and did it work? Was it worth the time? Okay guys, so we're back with the encoder for a quick video. I don't know how quick this will be. Duke has a problem. I think I've got a corrupted file. Now, I'm not upset about it, not mad at anybody. It just happens. And so I actually got a tune file off of someone off the internet, and I thought about this a while back, and I've got a data log that is corrupted on the SD card in the handheld. So it's got weird data, everything's just weird. And so I noticed that I started having problems with that, and I'm having problems with boost. So instead of just trying to track why my boost controller isn't working, maybe it's got a pinout. And why do I have a data card issue, a data log in the SD card as an issue? So I just thought, you know what, no big deal, I'm going to start from scratch because I can. Why? Because I built this tune. So when you know how to do that, that's the cool thing. You don't have to hire a tuner, you don't have to do that. You just have to know kind of your old parameter. And so I'm going to basically walk you through. I'm just going to pull a random tune off Holley, and I'm going to clear everything. I'm going to format my SD card. So let's get going with that. So you're going to come up here, you're going to come to manage, and you're going to come to format. Now, notice I've already cleared everything off this. I kept a couple of, if you notice, I've got a couple of tunes over here on my desktop. But I'm basically going to wipe out a lot of tunes. I'm going to keep some of the old gas tunes. I'm going to keep some tunes before the turbo stuff. So, but everything turbo, basically I'm about to switch over. So you want to be extremely careful you don't lose pertinent data. You have to know what you need in order to do this. I've got pictures of my entire spark table, fuel table, and I don't know if that's going to help clean my fuel table up. If you've seen my fuel table, it's kind of weird too. So there's just some stuff, and I don't know if that's mechanical or not, but instead of chasing a bunch of things, we're going to start with that, see what it fixes, and go from there. So then you're going to come down to format, and you're going to hit, if you just want a regular one, just hit quick format. Now at this point, guys, if you keep going, it's going to delete everything. So and then it'll come up and say, hey, format complete. So that's done. Now my SD card is totally clean, and it's the one that's going to live in the handheld. So I'm going to come down here to global file. We're going to go to base calibrations. Okay, base cals. And user calibration includes base cal filters as a starting point for a guideline. So okay, cool, we got the reference. Nice. We're going to come over here to GM, LS based, double click that. Now, so at this point you have to figure out what you need, whether you have a 24 tooth, a 48, 24, all of those things at this point. And so I've got a 24X, and so I'm a turbo. I don't have a 4L80E, multi-port fuel injection, turbo. So guys, this is the one I'm going to pick right here as I'm looking through these, because this is all 24. These are 24 with 4L80, 24 drive-by-wire. but I need the turbo 24 multi-port, and we'll go from there. So we're gonna open this bad boy up. Now notice we've got our boost, we've got our timing. I don't know why. Wow, if this is the factory setting, or did it pull one of my old? Huh, I'll be dang. No, so that's kind of cool, guys. Like, I've never really looked at the base cal. Dome, pressure, 5 volt, configure, Holley, 100 PSI sensor. Now, 3-bar map at 4. Wow, they've got a lot more down here in boost, so I'm gonna have to rescale all this. I thought this was gonna be pretty easy. I was getting really excited. And I was like, well, dang, this is gonna be really easy. Launch retard, launch parameters. So let's go over to sensors real quick. I'm just kind of cruising around for a minute, guys. Just kind of checking this thing out real fast. Huh. X Max, Terminator X, engine, 364, 8, VE. So I am VE based. I don't do VE combo or speed density. No alpha. I don't have a weird cam. Nothing like that. Multi-port. I'm going to bring this prime down to 2 seconds. 5 seconds is, I'm just going to do a second and a half because that is a long time. My actual system is at 50. PSI. Cool. Bosch, you can only pick that right there. Now, fuel injectors. I have Bosch 210s. Not seeing them. Not seeing them. Custom. Oh, 210. Bosch. Boom. There we go. Injector end angle 90. For right now, I'm going to leave that off and alone. Now, guys, if you remember looking back, Bosch 210 sequential. Rated injector. Let's just leave that at 43. We'll just leave that alone. So notice all your data when you have a fuel injector that is in there like that. Now come back over to your fuel table for a sec. Volumetric efficiency. Now I'm curious to see how Duke will run with this new tune, or if it's actually mechanical. Because now you've got all these targeted AFRs, which, wow, look at that, 14.7. I mean, I kind of, okay, so they're adding a little fuel, they're leaning it out at idle, way down there at load on the highway. Okay, cool. I don't really feel like they're kind of rich enough up here. You know, if you research E85, peak power, a lot of people say, is at 10.7 on AFR. So I don't know, maybe you know something I don't know, but if you do, tell me, let me know. So I'm just kind of cruising around for a second to look at the spark table. I'm actually kind of impressed with this. I mean, it's got a lot more resolution and vacuum than what I would like. I mean, they're running vacuum all the way up here. I'm going to cut the table in half right here. But that's not bad. I mean, it's not horrible, because at 14 pounds, I mean, that's the thing, they're calling for like, yeah, 14 degrees. Wow. That's not bad. I mean, I'm kind of tempted just to go throw this stupid thing in there and see what it does. Huh. It's just got way too much for me. It's got way too much spark. I mean, I guess on one hand of it, as I'm looking at it now, I could see where maybe you don't need as much resolution up here in power, they're saying, because basically they're just gonna basically set, you know, no more than 18 degrees of timing in there at 4,500 RPM. So, you know, at peak torque with a 6.0, you know, they're going to be throwing 15 degrees in there. Curiosity, guys. It's kind of thrown me for a loop. I wasn't expecting it to actually be decent, honestly. But let's keep cruising down this. So I have type, I do have these, I do have two. I've done a lot of kind of reading on this, and there's a lot of tables on this, so don't really think, hey, you know, this is gonna work for you. I just kind of looked at my other one and I thought, hey, you know, so we're gonna leave that alone for a second. RPM, full cylinder head temp, battery map. Okay, I'm not gonna mess with those a whole lot. I'm gonna click disable fan. We're gonna bring staging in. We're gonna enable staging. Gonna bring it down to 0.7 is what it took to get Duke to roll. And now, guys, what I'm doing here, this is the bump, and so what you'll want to do is go see what moves yours. On a sticky surface, this 0.6 for me is not going to be, I mean, it's not going to move it much. On a non-prep surface, which is where I'm going to, 0.65 is probably going to be a good bit of rollout on the bump and probably going to put me in the beam. So I don't want to get it too violent. There's a lot of different ways to do this, but I'm just going to try that for now. I'm going to come down here, close loop, it's all at 50. I'm just going to bring this all to 25. I'm going to tighten it up a tad more. Learn parameters for now. I'm going to go to 25 as well. Well, maybe, come on. I'm going to actually leave it on for now, but I'm not going to touch that. Individual cylinders. So 7 and 8. A cylinder fuel correction. I'm going to add 1% of fuel to the back, 2 cylinders, and I'm going to take out a degree of timing just to kind of keep them cooler, because it, you know, think about the motor, it transfers heat back there. That's not a lot. That's not much at all. Shouldn't be a big deal. Now, this is going to be fun. Electric fan grounded, AC shut down. So we're going to have to go in and unpin all of this, and this is where you're going to have so much fun. So, I'm actually just going to leave this fueling alone for a sec, because what I need to do now is come in and rescale this. So there's not a great way to do that. Okay guys, so all I literally did was just go drag and drop. Now if you notice, 0 is way down here now. So these have changed. So I went in and I did change my air fuel. So notice on a 3-bar map, it's going to limit out right there at 31 and at negative 14 in vacuum. And so, you know, Holley was putting a little less fuel in at cruise. It's fine, it doesn't matter, don't care. I think I'm going to leave that there for now. Fuel graph, notice it's ugly. Hopefully, you know, the learn's not going to be trying to add a lot of fuel, and I'll check my plugs. And I'm not going to get into a lot of this, guys. There's just a lot of stuff. You can enable decel cutoff. So I have both tunes open. I don't know if I should. I have that enabled at half a second, 1000 RPM. So let's go half at 1000 RPM. It's taking a sec. I think I should have just typed it in. But close enough. Now, I don't know if I should have had these open at the same time, but I did. I literally haven't changed any of these in the old at all. This was all factory stuff. They're pretty close from the factory. If you see right here coming up on the chip, so that's where I'm at right there, and it's coming up, so it'll get up here on the launch, you know, depending upon my RPM, so right in there a little bit. And okay, now let's come back to boost ICF. So dual port, gonna leave that alone. 3 bar, 3 port. Solenoid, I've got a 4, but that's fine, and it only does dome only. And boost first time is all you can do. I did enable that. I took the boost cut down to 30 pounds on ignition and 25 on the wastegate. So at 25 it's going to pull the wastegate. So if you're trying to target over 25 and you've got that cut, you're going to be targeting some issues. On the scramble button I've got 4.5 pounds. On the trans brake I've got 5. Now this is where the boost plus solenoid with dyno boost, and I'll talk about Sloppy's dyno boost in a second, but I just went in and I said 20 pounds all the time. Boom. Let's see if it'll do 20 pounds all the time. I doubt it. Now, boost plus solenoid is PWM, so that is actually correct. Trans brake, boost scramble, all the things. Injector end angle 90 degrees. I'm not actually sure what the Bosches are, but I'm going to leave that alone for now. 24 tooth, sensor scaling, base IOs, fan. I don't have lockup. I don't have the max. Single pulse. Enable or parameters, cylinders. Let's add 2%. 2%. And we're going to take out a degree of timing. So inputs and outputs, kick down not defined, staging, ground, ground. So in the pin map I came over here and grabbed the ones that I had. These are inputs, okay? These are outputs. So a signal coming in, a signal going out. Just think of it that way. Signal going out to the fans. So it's going to turn the fans on, an output. Boost solenoid, going to turn the solenoid boost controller on, an output. So those are kind of things to think about there. And so that's kind of it there. Now, I've gone over all this stuff. I've gone over these things. Sensors, 3 bar. Cool. That's actually what I have, I believe. Holley 3 bar. Yep. Mat. Oil pressure. And my fuel pressure. I think I have 100 psi fuel pressure sensor. So I'm just going to double check some of these. So yeah guys, I am cheating. You're right, I have a lot of this stuff already done. So see, fuel pressure is 100. Now mat, LSX, sensor, yep. On this, if you were starting, remember if you took the base tune, the Holley tune, and you came to the 0 and you copied, there is an easy way to do this on your fuel map. If 100 is complete volumetric efficiency, okay, at 3000 RPM, you could throw in 100 at volumetric efficiency at 3000 RPM, and you could literally build around that. And that's basically what Holley had done. I noticed that. They had the same number in there at that point. Now notice mine comes out at 8,000 RPM because my rev limiter goes to 7,500. So I'll never see over 7,500, but you definitely don't want fuel cutoffs. Just a few safety things. So as I look at that, I'm sitting there going, did I do that right? 8,000. I can't actually see that because my encoder is in the way, but so I can look at it more than one way. 6750, 6750, and 8,000. So I believe that I do have it at 8,000. Both you guys will be able to see that. I will not. Or actually, y'all won't be able to see that either down there because the cutoff for the encoder, y'all can't see it. Dang, sorry guys, I didn't realize that. And if I move that, it's going to kick off my off button, so I don't want to do that right now. And I'm already at 20 minutes on this video, so I think that's it on the timing table. I don't really have a whole lot for you there. I'm just going to throw in 18 on the new one, and I'm going to leave it there. And I'm going to throw this in at 16. And leave it there. I don't know why that's going to go back to 15 right there. And so that's at least smooth jumps. We're going up. So, you know, if you understand, if you don't really know what you're doing here, when you're on the chip, let's say mine's set at, I think that's set at like 2,500 right now. So as it comes up, it's going to go from idle down here. It's going to idle somewhere in this category. It's going to come up right in this range at 2,500. It's not going to go any past this line. So it's going to follow this right here all the way to build timing, to build boost in this column right here, because it can't get to 2,750. Now if you set at 3,750, you're going to come all the way like this. So you notice I have a curve right there for a reason. I'll talk about that later. I haven't even got to this timing table because I haven't been able to get this boost ICF. This right here hasn't worked the way I wanted it to. So I did a duty cycle. So basically you have to come to inputs and outputs, and I have a couple of inputs and outputs that they're right there, dome pressure. So if I come over and show you this, now I used sloppy mechanics input, and we have flex fuel, and we have dome map. Now dome map is configured as a Holley 3 bar. Okay, so let's actually just go in and do that real quick. Let's add this dome map. It's a 12 volt. I believe it's a 12 volt sensor. Input dome map. No, it's a 5 volt. I wonder if that's supposed to be 5. Well, we're going to leave it as 5 right now. 5 volt. Okay. Configure. It's a 3 bar. No. Okay, cool. And back. Now, we're going to come over to outputs. See that right there? Output. And we're going to come back to our good old tune here. Notice outputs. Smart fan. I'm not real sure why that's there. Dyno boost. So I'm not sure where that's configured. So it's switch input, no, input trigger, number 2, all, RPM, when cylinder head temp is above 170. Not sure why I did this. I know I had a hard time doing that. Smart fan. Enable. Then you come back and you go PWM ground, because most everything is PWM ground. Nope, it's just on ground. So while we're at that, let's look at this again. Input, linked, timer, it's fine. So let's go back to that. So see guys, sometimes some of this stuff is just making sure that you have it right. Cool, fine, configure. Input trigger, 1. Wait, 2. So I made 2 of these. Either one is above 500. Okay. I have no idea why I did it this way. But all RPM is above 500, and deactivate when cylinder head temp is above, oh, this is activate above 170, and deactivate at 165. So in other words, it's if the engine gets cooler than 165, it's going to kick the fan off. If it's above 170, it's going to turn the fan on above 500. Okay. Links, timers. Okay, all that's fine. Back. That's enabled. Now we have dyno boost duty. If I enable this, you get a configure. And this is what I was having problems with. Input sensor 1. And now when you get to a timer activated when boost PFG is above 0.1. Back. This is an output. Enable configure. So then you can come back to your pin map and notice you have in your outputs, you have smart fan and you have dyno boost duty. Okay, now I've got to come back and look at my pin map, my outputs. See, I've got smart fan up here, I've got electric fan here, electric fan 1. So I'm just going to leave that alone. I don't really know why I made that output. I think I was just trying stuff back in the day, and it's just one of those things that probably just needs to be deleted out of that. Outputs, inputs. Now, notice this, nothing is done here. Now this is all for turbos, guys, so if you've been watching me for a while, now you have this PWM setup, right? Once it's pinned, and you can fix this duty cycle. So this is the duty cycle that people talk about in building a curve there. It saves the computer, it makes it nice for the computer to read this, and so much easier. Right now, I think I just want to see. So if I watch this, if I come down and pin this now, see it's pinned to output 3. Now let's close this, and you come back here, and you go to outputs, and you come to dyno boost, and it still hasn't given me my PWM. It Is it an activation issue? Trigger inputs and no. Well, that's fascinating. I'm not real sure why it didn't just put that there. Maybe I need to reset it. But I'm just simply for now going to kick dyno boost duty back up there. So that's my duty cycle for PWM ground on that. And it may be because it's not assigned. And there's so many of these inputs and outputs in different places, guys. That's one of the things that this is just tricky to put. PWM boost plus solenoid, it is. Oh. And this is why you always have them labeled, guys, because I was in the wrong one. Okay, so it is PWM ground, PWM and ground. So these are all kind of done. So see how monotonous this stuff can get over time. This is all set at 20. And I think now I'm ready to hit File, Save As, Straight Tune, Recalibrated. And guys, that's all you have to do. Now, pay attention to where it saves it, okay? Because I don't necessarily want to save it in the base cals. So I'm going to kind of come back to where I keep my global files, and it is E85 table recalibrated. Hit save. Yes. So now it's changed, and I'm going to also save this to the SD card. So save global file as, pull it down in here to SD card and hit save. Okay, so there's that. So now I've got a couple things in there. And guys, this is going to do it for this video because we're at 32 minutes. And that is basically how you do this, guys. It's all done. Everything is the same. And it's all set up. So I'm going to go throw this in, see what happens, see if we've got any changes in the boost to see if we can get that worked out, and then maybe if it's pin rung in the harness. And I'll let you know.